Intro music with a serious, documentary-style tone begins and then fades into the background in the late 1960s against a backdrop of socio-economic decline and racial tension in Los Angeles. Two teenagers, Raymond Washington and Stanley Tookie Williams, formed a group that would evolve into one of the most notorious street gangs in American history, the Crips. What began as a local neighborhood alliance, supposedly for community protection, quickly spiraled into something far more complex and dangerous. This is the story of their rise, their reign, and the unexpected turn towards redemption that offers a glimmer of hope. In the fight against gang violence, the initial concept, according to co-founder Stanley Williams, was to create a force powerful enough to protect their communities from outside threats and rival gangs. They drew inspiration from groups like the Black Panthers, but their path diverged dramatically. By the early 1970s, as Raymond Washington's influence waned and he tragically lost his life, the Crips expanded rapidly. High unemployment, poverty, and a sense of disenfranchisement made gang life an attractive alternative for many young men seeking identity, protection, and a sense of belonging. The group's identity solidified, symbolized by the color blue and a complex system of hand signs. The 1980s marked a pivotal and devastating turning point with the explosion of the crack cocaine epidemic. The streets of Los Angeles became a battleground for control of the lucrative drug trade. This era saw the infamous and bloody rivalry with the Bloods intensify, a conflict born from a brutal Crip attack in 1972 that led smaller gangs to band together for survival. The violence wasn't just intergang, it spilled over, claiming innocent lives and terrorizing entire neighborhoods. Drive-by shootings became a grim nightly reality. The Crips' notoriety grew, and their influence spread like wildfire, with sets emerging in cities across the United States. They weren't just a street gang anymore. They had become a sprawling, often disconnected, criminal network involved in everything from drug trafficking to extortion. This image was amplified and, some would argue, glorified by the rise of gangster rap in the late 80s and early 90s. Artists with connections to Crip and Blood sets brought the realities of gang life into mainstream consciousness. The music gave a voice to the voiceless, but it also cemented a powerful and often misleading image of gang culture in the public imagination, influencing fashion, language, and attitudes far beyond the borders of South Central L.A. This media portrayal created a mythos that was both fascinating and terrifying, making it even harder to see the human beings caught in the cycle of violence. The reality on the ground was far from glamorous. It was a cycle of trauma, incarceration, and premature death. But just as the violence reached its peak, something remarkable began to happen. In 1992, in the wake of the LA riots, a historic truce was declared between rival sets of Crips and Bloods in Watts. This wasn't a top-down decree, but a grassroots movement driven by individuals who were exhausted by the decades of bloodshed. They were tired of burying their friends and family. This Watts truce, though fragile, was a watershed moment. It demonstrated that peace was possible, that the cycle could be broken from within. It was the first step in a long and arduous journey of healing and reconciliation. From this seed of peace, new movements began to grow. We started seeing the rise of community-led violence intervention programs, often spearheaded by the very people who once perpetuated the violence. Former gang leaders, having served long prison sentences or having experienced profound personal loss, began to emerge as credible messengers for peace. Figures like Aquila Sherrills, a key organizer of the Watts Truce, dedicated their lives to healing the trauma that fuels gang violence. They understood that you couldn't simply police your way out of this problem. You had to address the root causes: poverty, lack of opportunity, and the deep-seated pain passed down through generations. These community-based initiatives take a holistic approach. They engage directly with at-risk youth on the streets, acting as mentors and mediators to de-escalate conflicts before they turn deadly. Organizations like Homeboy Industries, founded by Father Greg Boyle, provide wraparound services. This includes tattoo removal, mental health counseling, education, and, most importantly, job training and employment. The philosophy is simple but profound. Nothing stops a bullet like a job. By offering a viable alternative to the streets, they give individuals a pathway out of the gang lifestyle and a chance to build a new identity, one rooted in contribution rather than destruction. The transformation is personal and profound. We see individuals who once embodied the violent ethos of the gang now leading peace walks and mentoring the next generation. They use their credibility and life experience to connect with young people in a way that law enforcement or outside agencies never could. Their stories are powerful testaments to the capacity for change. They speak of the emotional toll of their past lives and the liberation they found in dedicating themselves to peace. These are not simple stories of redemption. They are complex journeys of accountability, healing, and a commitment to rebuilding the very communities they once helped tear apart. The dialogue has shifted. Instead of focusing solely on suppression and incarceration, the conversation now includes prevention, intervention, and reconciliation. Coalitions of community members, faith leaders, and former rivals are working together to create comprehensive, long-term strategies. They are implementing cultural programs that celebrate heritage and build self-worth, countering the allure of gang identity. They are proving that the most effective solutions come from within the community itself. This isn't about erasing the history of the Crips, but about writing a new chapter one where their legacy is not defined by violence, but by the courageous efforts to end it. The story of the Crips is a uniquely American tragedy, born from systemic failure and human desperation. But it is also becoming a story of incredible resilience and hope. It shows us that even from the deepest cycles of violence, transformation is possible. The work is far from over, but the efforts of these community leaders and peacemakers shine a light on a path forward, not just for Los Angeles, but for any community grappling with similar challenges. It's a reminder that change begins with dialogue, and healing begins when we choose to see the humanity in everyone. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into the complex issues shaping our world. Your support helps us continue to tell these important stories. Stay safe and take care.